Hello everyone, I'm Joshua from JTKB92, and today I'm ranking my top 10 favorite Disney TV shows from worst to best. And this is my third ever ranking video, and first one was NASCAR drivers in my top 10. Well, my top 5 favorite drivers, my top 5 least favorite. And second was my Star Wars movie one. But today is my third, which is my favorite Disney TV shows. And at number 10, we have Star versus the Forces of Evil. And spoilers for all the shows. Star versus the Forces of Evil is about this irresponsible teen who's destined to become queen of a land called Muni. And she goes on wacky adventures, trying to learn new spells, and becoming more responsible, and she's becoming the queen she's meant to be. And she meets this guy named Marco, who shows her the way of Earth after her parents send her there. And she meets a lot of friends and all that. And the reason this probably would be higher on my list if season 4 just was better. Season 4, you finally get that, basically you finally get that responsible Star Butterfly. I almost said Starfire and Teen Titans, but you finally get Star's the responsible side, but just the queen, the whole premise of the show just felt kind of thrown out. And especially on the season finale. And overall, season 4, not the best. Plus, the season finale, when I see a show with a bunch of combat or something, I want to see the series finale have a lot of action. In the final minutes of the series finale, basically the only thing that really happens is Star and them destroy the magic, and then basically the world just converge. And yeah. And that's it for Star Wars: The Force of Evil. 9 is the Book of Boba Fett, which is honestly a lot simpler. Basically, it's about Boba Fett, who's a clone. If you guys have watched Star Wars Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, you'll know who he is from those shows and movies. Basically, if you guys watched the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian, speaking of The Mandalorian, here's Grogu. He'll be joining me for the rest of this. But speaking of the, in the season 2 finale, in the credits scene, Boba Fett was showing killing Bib Fortuna, and then in YouTube it was a TV show. It's not real. And it's showing him taking over the crime throne. And then in Book of Boba Fett, him and Fennec Shan are leading it, and then the Pikes want to do a spice trade throughout Tatooine. And at one point, and it's also about how he became humble, and from being with Tusken Raiders, and showing not all of them are so bad. And yeah, basically that's what Book of Boba Fett is about. The final 3 episodes felt a bit like Mandalorian, except for the 7th one. Boba Fett didn't even show up in episode 5, and his name is literally in the show. And in episode 6, he showed up, but he didn't even say a single line. In episode 7, spoiler alert, Grogu chose Mando in the decision. And Grogu calms the Rancor down, and Cad Bane is defeated. And that's it for Book of Boba Fett. Now on to number 8, Phineas and Ferb. This is just a classic. If you guys have watched pretty much any Disney Channel, you'll know what Phineas and Ferb is. Basically about like these two kids and like the older sister's trying to always bust them, thinks their antics are wrong when basically all they're doing is like building things on a big scale. Like if you guys have like Legos, imagine that but like on a massive scale, and they build like it was like all sorts of tech. That's basically what they do. It's just funny and just awesome. Next up at number 7 is The Bad Batch. It's a spin-off of Star Wars The Clone Wars. These characters showed up in the first 4 episodes of Season 7. In the first episode of The Bad Batch, it shows like Order 66 and where they were at during the time. And then they meet this child named Omega, who the Kaminoans need to keep up the cloning facilities and all that. It's the only thing that we know so far is that her genes are pure Gen 1 DNA. So even though she is like unmodified, she's technically older than the Bad Batch themselves. And she has like bounties on her placed by the Kaminoans. And then like Crosshair, he's like a brother of the Bad Batch. He goes to like he left them to join the Empire, and basically Bad Batch was on the run from him. Overall, it doesn't quite hold a candle to like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and like that's it for the Bad Batch. And at number 6 we have DuckTales. And this is also a Disney classic. It's a reboot, and most reboots like Teen Titans Go get a bad reputation, and Teen Titans Go, I see why. It's directed more towards like the younger audience versus the original. But in DuckTales, this is how all reboots should be. Basically, it's just amazing. Basically, these like the triplets, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, they all went off. Like their Uncle Donald had to like go on a business thing so he could find a new job, and they meet their Uncle Scrooge, who they had no idea was their uncle until they were like 10. And then they keep going on wacky adventures and all that, and then after the season 1 finale, it's revealed that Della Duck is alive and got stranded on the moon. And overall, and then she comes back in the middle of season 2. Then season 3 is basically about Bradford. He becomes like the leader of FOWL, a fiendish organization of world larceny, and basically they want to take out Shush, which is the organization Miss Beakley works for and all that. But that's basically what DuckTales is about. And number 5, this is the last show of this video. I'll do the next 4 after, probably tomorrow after school. But next up is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Overall, I'm gonna do like a really fast summary, and I'm gonna go over the season 7 finale. But overall, it's just about the Clone Wars and like what all went on between like episode 2 and 3, and a bit in episode 3. In season 7, there was like a massive battle on Mandalore, which like, if you guys want, I highly, highly recommend you watch all these shows. And like, basically, Ahsoka Tano faced off against Darth Maul, which would decide the fate of Mandalore. And overall, there's just so much to explain in such a short amount. In just like 10 minutes, but overall, that is my top 10 favorite TV shows. I give my top 5, I guess, so far. Tomorrow I'll go into my top 4, and